Yes, we're back again. Good morning, all of my friends. How are you out in CRT land today? We're coming in hot. We're coming in live. I think everything's going well. I hope you're doing wonderful. Things have been just absolutely fabulous here in the CRT bunker the last month. What's up, Mix Bomb, Stefan C, Ronnie? Good to see ya. 196 Cupcake. Thank you all for dropping in, saying hello. We are going to work on a CRT today. I did have to move this camera around because I do need two for today's show. And the lens on this camera just gives me a hard time sometimes. Shane, welcome in. And so I'm going to try to limit the amount of shots I have where it's just you and I together, because I have a couple other views. But to start things off, we do need to acknowledge what we're going to be working on. There you go. This is a JVC. It's a TM 13U. 13U. And it's a clone of a Commodore CRT. So, good morning, Mohammed. Welcome in. Rob Cat. So yeah, if everything sounds okay, I did move the microphone a little bit back. I felt like when I was talking to Zez in last week's show, it was coming in way too heavy and hot. So I did pull the mic back a little bit so that we can just like have a little bit better experience on the show. This is not RF only. This one is a little interesting. So I did work on one of the CRTs I worked on this month is a Commodore 1702, I think is the model right off the top of my head. Maybe it was a 1701. But it was the one that looks just like this, but it does S-video. This is JVC's just rip-off of that, and it actually only does composite. It does loop out composite video, but it only does composite. All right, great. That's the colors, but there we go. We got some brightness there. So I've not really turned this TV on in probably 2 years or so. It's just been sitting in my collection. I got caught up on some work, and I thought, I was either going to edit some videos today or keep working on some CRTs. And I thought, well, let's just do a live show, have some fun. And this is on the bonus list. I'm trying to specifically get this one ready because I'm either going to... By the way, it's going to get sold to somebody. But it's either going to be sold to somebody who's coming this weekend to pick up the other Commodore monitors that I restored. I'll offer it to him. If he doesn't want it, I'm going to take it to the Retro World Expo and try to sell it there. So if you're going to be at the expo, you can get it. And you can, heck, I'll even sign it and take a picture with it, with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to rip this sucker apart. There are a few things that are different. This one is filthy. Like, it's got a nasty tar on the outside of it. Like, oof, just touching it makes you feel a little bit bad. But we're going to take it apart. We're going to get it all cleaned up. We're going to do some cap work on it because I'm sure after this amount of time, it needs some cap work. But I will tell you, these things can be hardy little monitors. Think about that. This thing is like 40 years old and it's still working. I mean, that is a testament to durability, right? I mean, that's longer than most vehicles even last nowadays. So just an amazing thing, amazing hardware. Hey, Darth, welcome in. Sonali Deluxe, welcome in. Siok 1, way, yeah, Germany, awesome. Thank you for dropping in today. So, we've been seeing it go. It obviously works, but we'll power it down and we'll start taking it apart here. We're going to see what it looks like on the inside, and then I have the workstation set up here. and we could do some work. So that's a live camera feed right there. Check out these old pliers I found of my grandfather's. So these are probably, I'd say these are probably, goodness gracious, 60 years old. But they're awesome for pulling caps. If you got to get in that tight, weird spot, these are good ones. Now, I'd like to add some rubber on the handle there, but anyway, we're gonna switch back and start tearing this thing down. Tearing this lovely CRT down. So let me just turn down the jazz a little bit. I don't want it to be distracting. Before I do that, let's power it off. Everybody ready? Ready to see it turned off? Let me see if I can get a closer picture of the screen at all before I do that. Because it's a good picture for, ooh, here we go. For what it is, which is composite only. So you're not gonna, it still looks good for composite only. Like you could see visible scan lines in the picture. They're not like dense and fat, but it's got a good sharp image for what it is. Like you could see a little bit better. I have to keep the light lower so it doesn't mess with the image on the tube. There you go. Wonderful picture right there, right? There you go. So let's see here. That's about as far as my camera cable's letting me go. Let me see if I can get a little bit more of an extension in here. So this looks pretty much identical to that Commodore monitor, right? So the button down here is the same. And the difference is this doesn't have the composite video input. Normally there would be a composite video input right here on the Commodore version. And yeah, this power button's a little bit different shade of a color. Let's see. This is all the same pretty much. And kind of just see how I have it hooked up here, if I can get it to roll safely. Gotta take a look at the back. So, I lost the camera. Oh, there it's back. Thank you. Well, I thought I lost the camera for a second. So, sorry about the lower light right this second, but you can see commercial use. It's sliding all over the place. Commercial use only. 13U. TM 13U. So power average is 50 watts consumption. Check it out. 87. April of 87. Is anybody younger than this CRT joining us today? If you are, say hello in the chat. I'll give you a shout out for being here and being younger than the CRT. So there you go. You see we've got an in and out here. Instead of, like, normally this would be set up and this would be S-Video if this was the Commodore monitor, and it would be split out to Luma and Chroma, and then you'd have a selector switch down here that would select between the front and the back input. I don't think there's just like, it doesn't have a stereo audio. It only has a mono speaker up top, which you'll see in a second. There we go. Hey, good job, malware testing. You're younger. Stefan, you're younger too. Cool. Dark. A lot of people here are younger. Soren, same age. Well, that's okay. I'm older than this one by about 4 years, so don't feel bad. Brandon, that's cool. 95. All right. Ronnie, 75. See, we're getting the older school here. Chris, welcome. Welcome in, buddy. 96. There you go. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start digging into this bad boy now. First, of course, I'm going to turn it off and unplug it. So, power cable's right here. And this amazing Super Famicom to test it. The only thing I don't want to do is create a giant trip hazard here. So let's disconnect that. And we'll tidy up. So, Delusional, what's up? It's getting close. We're getting close to the big convention. Let's see if it's a good chance this CRT will be at the booth. Caleb, 96. Slock, 79. There you go. Got a couple Gen Xers left in here. All right. Just straightening stuff up. We're about to start taking this Commodore apart. And we're going to see just how nice this 37-year-old hardware has held up over the decades. Hey, you guys point me to a convention, and if they're willing to, get me there, set me up with a place, help me get over there with covering the flight, I'll be glad to come to Europe. Here we go. This thing has a big old beefy power cable, and it's attached. Big old long beefy cable. There you go. Rob. 67. Get off my lawn. We're gonna start by taking the screws out of the back, and I will have to eventually take some screws out of the front too. Apologize again for the dark picture. I need to install some new lighting in here and get some more lights in here. Let's see. We'll throw Donna in the side screen there. But she'll probably go in and out of focus 1,000 times as I do this. Sounds good. Will do, Dell. Boom, boom. Now, it's still quite hot where I'm at. I don't know about where you guys are. So I may have to turn the air conditioner on here for a little bit. What's up, Andre? Welcome in. You're just getting to the good part. There's a good chance the inside of this TV or computer monitor hasn't seen daylight in almost 35 years. It's probably been longer. I don't see any reason. It doesn't look like it's ever been opened up before, after it was sold and shipped out. It says manufactured at the Iowa Victor Company of Japan plant. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Apologize. I'm going to move the microphone a little bit away from that, but I am going to have to turn that air on. Let's hope it's not too obnoxious. It's getting hot in here. boiling lava hot in Florida. I believe that. So yeah, we're talking about isolation transformers with Chris. Mine's coming today, Chris. I got a sweet isolation transformer on eBay. The fuse is blown in it, but it's a really cool BK model. And it should be showing up anytime within the next probably 2 or 3 hours. I'm really excited about seeing that thing. That should be fun, so we can finally scope some stuff on a CRT, hopefully. It's propped up a little bit so that you too can see what's going on here. Boy, come on, there we go. Yeah, this is greasy and nasty. I want to make sure it doesn't fall over first, but it is dirty. I bet. I don't know. It might have been smoked with, like, the smoker owned it. A smoker owned it at some point, I think. Look at that. Like, it's hard to see, but you could see this discoloration. Let's see if I can switch over to the other cam. Look at that. Gross. What is that, like, grease down there at the bottom too, man? This thing's nasty. Gross, 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 man. Woo! It's like got, yeah. Yuck. Set that out of the way. It's gonna need a good cleaning at some point. Oh, well, the good thing is this has less hardware in it than, like, the standard other version of it. The Commodore. Woo! Well, that's not a cap leak, thankfully. Something greasy, like the guy probably spilled grease under it or something, who owned it before. We're gonna have to swing this around a little bit, because I'm gonna have to take some screws out of the front. But that's it. Screws out of the front, and that's it. Okay. All right. I'm going to take it off this little pedestal, and then I'm going to aim the camera more down towards this. That way it'll be safe. This guy's going to need to be completely, like, taken back apart, because it's, like I say, it's got a lot of smoke going on in it. Something. The screws are going to be down in this area. There's that camera going wild again. There we go. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. That's right. It's a lovely day here in Capacitor Town, USA. Look at that. We can kind of focus on the tip of the screwdriver, but this lens just has a hard time sometimes. Guys, do me a favor if you haven't already. Please drop a like on the show. And I am watching the chat today, so if you have a question or comment, feel free to join in on the fun. And let us know how you're feeling today. I did finally get a haircut, as some people will have noticed from the last show. There we go. And so the interesting thing I'd say about that is I actually cut my own hair. That's right. That's why it's probably imperfect, but not too bad for a self haircut. You've already seen me cut the hair. If you watched the live stream over on 8-Bit Esquire's channel last winter for charity. So let's do some teardown now. Watch this. This should just slip right out. Yep. Undo this. This is generally soldered into the board, but if it's not, I might just disconnect. Oh, it's not on this one. Lovely. So for documentation purposes, I'm going to take a picture of what I've got going on in here. And then we're going to there we go. Trickster. I think it is connected. I think it is connected to the board. So I'll just turn it over and take a picture that way. All right. Take this off the old-fashioned way. It's like that. It's like a lot of tar again built up in there. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I like to smoke cigarettes and hang out next to my TV and blow all that secondhand exhaled goodies inside for all the memories of how much I gave to Philip Morris and company. Gladly to get the relief of being stressed out all day, smoking cigarettes till dawn. Oh, sorry. Not really. Okay, isolated power transformer, and let me bring you back over here to full screen. What's up, Smasher Josh? Welcome Cauliflower. I'm just actually gonna get in here and we're gonna rip this apart first and spruce it up, do a little restoration. See, there we go. The only thing that's left is the gauzer cable. That's connected. Obviously our yoke is connected in here. Take another picture. In case I forget what I'm doing. Bump my head. All right. I got the yoke disconnected. That's right, folks. It's disconnected and now. So is this. That means we're redoing it. And all we got left is we're going to be taking the neck board with us. So to get that off, Let's try to get closer. Gets a little more intimate. Look at this dirty thing. Do. We're gonna take you down to CRT town. We're gonna get in close, you know. And what I'm gonna do is just give it a little wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. That's it. Of course, we have a little ground cable connection right here. This thing might be a little corroded. Yeah, there we go. Got her off there. Yeah, I don't know about that. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't ever see ads. I'm not sure. They take care. YouTube does that automatically. Advertisements now, so. Here we go. Ready to zap? Ready to zapper. It's not going to be a zap on this, I don't think. What do you think? You think there is? What do you think? Can we get any closer? Does anybody want to? There we go. I would just take it out, but oh, I've just popped it out. Look at that. I've got the good fingers to squeeze and please it. There we go. Let's see. I don't think there's going to be anything. Bap, 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 bap. Nothing. See, the tube is the most important thing, though. No, nothing. So this is proof that they could put these resistors in here all the way back in the 80s if they wanted to, bleeder resistors, to make the CRT safer. They had the technology. Whoops, sorry about that. Just knocked the camera around a little bit. There we go. If we look over here, you can see the tube. It's pretty dirty, but it is a Toshiba right in there. (37ONBB22). No, sorry. 37 October November Victor Bravo 22. There you go. Code name Toshiba. All right. There we go. Look at that filth on that button. You can see the level of yuck on the outside there. Here we go. All that back end's going to need to be cleaned. Probably taken all the way apart and cleaned. Let's more. There we go. Get back into circuit board restoration spot here, because we're about to take a look at all of this. Take it down further and start checking out the board. Yeah, it's okay. Ooh, that's about to make me sneeze. Sneeze. We will have to unscrew some more parts of this thing, and then we'll get to pulling that board. Get ready here. And we can start inspecting stuff. So there's not a whole lot to this CRT as far as hardware. Got a bundle here that has pretty much all the primary boards we're carrying about. Let's get all that out of the way. Some of this is going to be bundled together, like, and I'll just service it together. That will be this, but see, that's kind of annoying. Looks like a lot of these cables are just like soldered into the board, and there's like no actual way to remove the majority of them unless I just wanted to desolder them, which I don't really want to do. So I'll probably just have to service all these by flipping them out, taking the screws out here, and doing it that way. There we go. Here we go. Cauliflower, I don't have a 2000, I don't know if I have a 2001 specifically. I have a bunch of the 13-inch that are flat screens. I think they're later than 2001 though. Most of them. Let's see, there's some more screws somewhere. There it is. Two more screws here. It's so dirty. I wonder if you could add S-video to it though. There we go. Let's see if I get some it's pretty close. Oh no, I missed this something right here. Forgot. These things have like a weird flyback that's held up some braces. A dual coil flyback. Older flyback stuff. They have 3 coils in it. It's a crazy thing. But because of that, it's held in place with 3. No, we can just do that. But I will need to remove this brace. We'll need to remove it. You can see the JVC logo on that flyback right there. This is, see how dirty my hands are getting? This is not typical. See, there's that. See how the flyback actually has 2 coils, see? Large coil and a small coil, and then like there might even be another coil inside of this focus assembly right here. Probably, right there. So it's like a triple coiled flyback. But you didn't think you'd see that today, a triple coil flyback. So that will release this. But we're going to run into a couple more issues here. Cables. I don't get why you wouldn't be able to remove that. They really save enough money to warrant. Serenity now, serenity now. Remember? Serenity now. That's right. There we go. There we go. My audio is no good here. I had to turn. Sorry, I warned everybody about 20 minutes ago. I had to turn my air conditioner on. I can't believe this. This literally does not come out of this. No, all this stuff is like hard soldered in. Now this one's not. Back here, let's see. Hope that helped the audio a little bit right there. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I didn't want to make it that bad, though. I mean, you probably can hear the buzz of it. I just turned it off, though. So we'll let it stay off for a little bit. So, like, that's so annoying that they would put sockets for some of these cables and not for all of them. And then zip tie stuff together. So like this front LED, the front LED has a cable disconnection, but not anything else. Hey, thanks, Mohammed. Vintage Freak. Happy to see you working on these. Thanks for everything you do for the community, Steve. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you very much. Just eat them, Mike. If I was hungry enough, maybe I would. Thank you for your contribution. I love working on these. Let's see if we can figure out a way to get this board out and play around with it. Because just am baffled at all those things right there. So we'll basically just have to lift the board up. Yeah, it's not, is it? It isn't an LED. It's a whole bulb. You're right. Look at that. It is a little fluorescent bulb down in there. Good one. You're correct. Everything here is connected. Hardwired, if you want to say it that way. So I'm gonna like slip this out of a... There we go. The frame, we're gonna move it out of the frame a little bit. Try to give it a little bit more space. While I work on this, I give myself a couple more inches there. That's just wild. Just wild, folks. It's just wild. It's not going to be easy to clean that very well. Here's our board. Look at this. We got some pretty lousy looking solder, which you may have to just replace altogether. We look down in here. Still not too bad though. I mean, I've seen worse. Seen much worse from the 2000s when everybody jumped onto the lead-free solder craze. That was fun, wasn't it? It's gonna be kind of obnoxious to do this, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna get in here. There's some pots. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna pull these caps. We're gonna just start pulling these caps, okay? And as I go, maybe I can pull in a third. Do I still have a screen that's side by side? So I could just do that, and we'll pull a. Let me pull a Word document up over here. Camping trip. I'm not going on a camping trip. Let's get... I'm going to find a new document, and we're going to start a cap list here. I'm going to make this as we go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have this little guy right here. I'll make him smaller. Put him up here. We'll make this guy bigger. And then we'll put... I know I gotta be in here somewhere. There we are. Move this guy over here. Do that. And that. And then we'll do that. There we go. How about that? Just like that. You'll get to see it all. So this is a good way to just save paper. Let's get it here and zoom in a little bit on this. Where is that zoom? There we go. All right, there we go. C. First letter C. Caps lock C. And we're just going to start pulling them here. What did you say? I don't see your comment. I'm sorry. Cauliflower. Must be way up there. It's not too bad. I mean, I have an AC. It's just so... I mean, it's a wall unit. It's right behind the microphone. Like my air conditioner. So if I turn it on, it'll definitely make a noise. But in here, it's still probably 74 at the moment. I have a lot of tree shade. If that's Fahrenheit. We'll let our FR301 get warmed up. And then we can get to it. It's going to be tricky. Not accidentally clicking the wrong button here. But we're going to do it. We'll get it done because we are talented. And doggone it, this is what you want. If it's something to do with Reddit, I'm not on Reddit anymore. I haven't been on Reddit beyond the point of just being a connoisseur of any helpful data I might find on there. First up, we have C551. This thing. Look at that. Let's see if I can get a focus a little bit better for you guys there. C551. Ooh, look at that thing. Let me record C. 551. We have a 16 volt 1000 UF. And sometimes I like to put a slash in there, but it won't let me. Slash, slash, slash. There we go. There we go. That's really all we need on this list for right now. Because these are just, golly, these are 85-degree temperature caps. Very worn. It's a good fine vintage there. Good 1987 cap right there. Whew. Just enough fishiness to get your senses really rolling. All right. Nah, these are pretty low energy caps. So, but I will tell you that sometimes I do see them zap. Maybe you'll get lucky and we'll have something with one of these zap. Because the tools are actually all grounded. Like, oh, this is grounded and I'm grounded. But sometimes these will just, like when I'm working on them, they'll ground out against each other. And you'll see them zap. But it's so little energy, and it's not like you're going to be holding. It's just personal risk. These things are not strong enough to knock you out. $25 volt 470 531. 531. And these are pretty common capacitors in CRTs from this time period. These values, you'll find a lot of these kind of same values. That's why I have a back stock of these. This one's okay. Not too bad. What's the branding on these? I'm not sure. What's this brand? I can't remember. If anybody knows, they can say it. It's not one that's listing itself. It's up to you. You could definitely do it. I just don't worry about it most of the time. Or unless it's something like huge. If it's like a huge capacitor that I'm worried about, it's not that big to discharge it with a screwdriver if you have one handy. Let's see what C702 is. 702. $25 volt 100. There we go. Yeah, I think you might be right, Sanilli. I think they might be Nippon Chemicon. That's what I was thinking. I just couldn't have that name. I didn't have the name on the top of my head. I think you're right, though. That's what I would guess. Good call. Now, some of these are actually nicer. I could tell we've got some... Nope, never mind. I thought they were 105. I was reading it wrong. Okay. We're going to get you out. I have an FR301 Hacko desoldering tool, and I keep it on the lowest setting, which claims to be what, 350C, but it's probably a little hotter than that. But it's about that temperature. Because if you go higher, you'll burn these old boards usually. And then when you use it, you just try to heat the solder and maybe some of the, and like the leg of the component up. And then I usually, see what I'm doing? I'm softening the solder, and then I'm wiggling that leg to make sure the solder is like loosened. You don't have to stick it over the leg either. You can stick it on the outside like that. Suck it out. I try to avoid contact with the board as much as possible, just because I don't want to. I mean, you would not believe some of these boards. You'll hit it with any kind of heat, and the trace or the trace that's holding the capacitor will vaporize right in front of you. You could even be using as low heat as possible, and the trace will just start to vaporize on you. It's a mess. All right, which one were we on? 425. You also want to make sure you pay attention to the polarity on these, as well as double check on the capacitor. Make sure you not get something that's got a bipolar capacitor. Excuse me. $35 volt 470. Here we go. The beat goes on, folks. You guys want something like that? You want me to do an episode about tools? I mean, I don't mind. That'd probably do pretty good. What do you think? If I get a couple comments, I'll consider it. What do you think? Do you guys want a episode about tools to get you started? How much of a budget do you want it? How much of a budget do you think you can get it done for? How much money, better questions, how much money can you scrape together to get started to try to do something like this? Is there a consensus? What do people think? How much money? And I'll tell you what I can do for you. And I don't mean like money to pay me. I'm sorry. I mean money to spend on the tools. Like, what's your budget for your tools? That's always the question. And that's going to depend kind of where we're going from there. .424. Let's see. C424 is 25,470. And those are definitely capacitors that are in the absolutely in that deflection zone. Anything over here, right next to the flyback, and then these potentiometers. Man, that's a pretty good budget. You can get a lot of stuff for $300. I would what I would do is I would probably challenge you to stay, to get started. Maybe even, I think I could get you something put together for about half that budget. That would be a good starter setup. And then I would want you to save up your money for your second big tool purchase, because that's going to be $300 itself, or maybe $260, which will be this, because there's not really a good cheap replacement for this tool. I wouldn't consider it to be reliable enough. I don't know. I haven't found a good alternative. I actually own 2 of these in the shop in case one breaks. And I'll be honest with you, I could do just as much with this. I know people are like scared or intimidated of this stuff, but this stuff, most of the time, not all the time, but this stuff right here is something that's never really used. Just some good old-fashioned solder wick. Chemtronics. This stuff, you put it down and man, it sucks up solder like a sponge. You don't even have to do that much. I mean, like, let me show you. So if you just have an iron, right? Let's clip off this used bit. And I'll turn my iron only on instead of my soldering tool. And this could be any decent iron, like I'm saying solder iron, I mean the actual soldering iron itself. I have obviously a high-end one here in the shop. It's the Hakko FX951. But if I took this iron, let's see, put this capacitor up here. And let's go over to the big view if I can. I wonder if I can, like... I don't know that I have one of those. Alright, that's a little bit better. Let's get in here and do it this way. So let's try to remove this big capacitor here. C610. And I want you to try to see that as I put my solder tip on here, it starts to smoke. I put my solder tip on the edge where it's just hitting that solder wick, like right on the edge there. Now it's going to get hot, so my hand's going to feel it. But like I'm heating up this spot right here while that's touching down here, and see how that that easily got that leg free. See right there? See that leg on the capacitor? Watch, I'll do the other one too. It's not that big of a deal. You have to be a little bit more careful though, but you could learn good technique doing this. Don't you see? There you go. Just like that. Easy as pie, right? Look at that. You saw me do it right there. That's it. Now, I don't always do it like that because it just takes longer and I feel like it's a waste of the desoldering wick because you end up using up the materials, but it's something you can use. C610. It's something you could use as an alternative. And I don't know why that is. And remember, knowing is half the battle. There we go. Let's go back to the big 3 screen. Now that I showed you a little bit of that secret sauce that we in the repair business call, I don't know what we call it. I'm just kidding. There's no like terminology for it. Just using solder wick, I guess. The wick is pre-fluxed, yes. It's like dripping with flux. It is fluxy. A fluxy wick. And then the next thing is you always have to maintain your tools properly. Okay? It means keeping them clean, stuff, or you'll, they won't last very long. So, there you go. Let's continue on. We've got some more work to do. We've got a whole nother block of capacitors to remove here. We're going to go back to this. Now, another thing I'm going to have to do on this chassis is I'm probably going to reflow all the solder on this board, which I should have done that probably to begin with. Maybe not every spot, but a vast majority. C607. There we go. And we're just going to take our time as we do this, because I don't want to make any mistakes, just like you don't want to make any mistakes. Nobody wants to screw up when you're working on this stuff, so it's better just to take your time. C604. Now it's nicer when you have a cap kit documented. When you have a cap kit documented for your set already, it's easily, I don't know, easier to deal with because you already have it, and you could just pull the caps and confirm that they're the same. Or just trust your instincts and your documentation and roll with it and hope there's no changes. Get on out of here. Get on out of here, little cat. 603. What do you think? Let's get this one with the teeth puller. There we go. 603. $50-volt 10 UF. That's right, we got the 50-volt 10 UF cap out of there. Move on to C530 over here. Oh yeah. C530 50-volt 2.2. Yes, yes, yes. This one says it's bipolar. It is bipolar. Woo! We gotta put a special note that it's bipolar. There we go, bop. Sorry, BP. BP. Cecil, that's a tricky one. Thanks, Stefan. Cecil, you are going to have to make sure it's pretty darn close to the original. And the pinout's the same. Maybe could retrofit something, but it would be beyond my ability to figure that one out. All right, back to it. Back to the regular positive, negative ended standard capacitors. You have to be on lookout for bipolar capacitors on a CRT. There are generally 1 to 5 every time, just about. 50-volt 1. 50-volt 1. Which one was that? see, 601. Just to make sure I'm doing all this the best. There we go. We'll go down to 602. We do that ahead of time so I don't mess up and lose track of where I'm at. Hey James, welcome in. Good to see you. I would. It's pretty close to the same. I mean, the good thing about the S video, you got S video, I guess, on the Commodore, so that's better. 16 volt 220. All right. It's gonna be a good sizable cap kit. I mean, it's not gonna be ginormous, but good enough to whet your appetite for removing capacitors. 101. 101 down here. C101. C101. 16 volt. 47 UF. And C316 is next. So .316. Ooh, 16 volt 10. And what I usually do when I get these lower voltage capacitors, I consolidate all this up to generally speaking about 25 or 50 volts most of the time. I would say it's pretty good for what it is. It's got a good look for composite, but it's definitely, you know, going to be composite video. It's not super duper sharp, but it's cool. It's a CRT worthy of affection. I'm just kidding. All right, we're gonna keep going. See, 3, 1, 4. .25 volt, 47 UF. Now all these are, we're going to do better. We're going to at least make the voltages, or I'm sorry, the temperature ratings better on the capacitors. They'll all be smaller in size, the replacement ones. So I would say, you know, like this does do a good job for what it is. There's not many... Getting that 80s time period, a lot of these don't have better than composite video in the US. So it's still a compelling CRT. 315, 16 volt, 220. There we go. On. JVC 305. $305, 50 volts, 0.47. So far, I've not run into any unusual capacitor or anything like that. So, I mean, to this point. The other good thing about these Commodores is most of the time people turned them off, didn't like leave them running. So I haven't found a lot of them that have been used really hardcore and like beat up. They are more physically beat up than anything because of the plastic frames. 102, see 102. 6.3 volts. 6.3 on the voltage. 470. 470 microfarads. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember struggling more with the RF than anything when growing up. I don't remember even having too much, you know, again, that wasn't RF. Everything, even if there was composite video, it was always like you just had to use RF for most items. And how long was your RF connection? Right? Like how many things did you have connected at once? All right, let's continue on. We are down to number, that's 303. Is that right? Yes, 303. Or 304. We'll see on the other side. I believe it's going to be 3. It's 303. Gotta be. $25 volt 100. I almost threw that in the pile without even checking it. That would have been a mistake. That would have been a big mistake. This is, 6.3 volts. 33 microfarads. So that's a bit of an unusual. You don't get many 33 UF or microfarad capacitors. Actually, I'll probably just have a 33. I'll either have a 2533 or a 5033 that I'll put in place of that. So we're gonna really jump up on that voltage on that replacement capacitor. Man, oh, this dust is making my nose itch. All right, we're gonna get this C104 out next. And I can already see it's a 16 volt 470 microfarad capacitor. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that on the list, just like you should hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's go, right? Nothing like getting some good old live CRT restoration practice in. 16470. Gosh, that sneeze. Keep going down here where it's getting really awkward down towards the bottom of this board. C201. C201 is 16 volts, 10 microfarads. All right. Ugh. Look at all that stuff. So we've got like this section in the middle to go under all these cables. Still quite a few in there. You can see them right down in there. Look at this. Whoa. Now look. You saw I did not desolder this one yet. Check this out. I'm surprised this never showed up with any issues. Look at this. Can you see it? It's like a barely soldered on right here. Hang on, let me see if I can get in closer. Okay. Let's look. Where's that thing? Oh, sorry. Down here. That trace is almost severed on that C208 capacitor. You see that right there? Look at that. I don't even think that's in place. And I did not desolder that. So there you go. Solder breakdown. Communication breakdown. Or solder breakdown. That's wild. Might have been enough holding that on. C208. $16-volt, 330 microfarads. Where are we at? There we go. Moving on. On to the next one, baby. Let's get these under this bridge here. Got 3 down here in a row. Starting 423. 423 right here in the middle. And that's a good example of how you can tell that, like, doing something. Like, imagine if you just went through and did a cleaning on this board without taking it apart. You could easily hit that capacitor with a brush, cause that to completely break continuity, and then you'd have an issue and you wouldn't understand why. 35 volt 100. All right. $407 right in the middle, and 403. Might have to go 407 first. C407. $35 2.2, which is just going to be bumped up to 50 because I don't have 35 volt, but it is positive and negative. It was not bipolar. This is uncomfortable. See, it'd be so nice. I'm afraid I'm just going to break something by moving all this around so much. It'd be sure nice if it was just one solid piece, or I was able to remove it. $403. That is 16,470. 16 volts. 470 microfarads. So much. Cool, Robert. Good job. You got it. Glad the information is useful to someone and helps keep CRTs out there alive and well. I go 203 now, down towards the bottom. Two zero three. Whoa, pop. $50 volt, 3.3 microfarads. I actually just have a supply here of caps that I keep, and then I usually publish these lists over to the Discord for Patreon members in case they want to have access to the list and they need to do the restoration on their own CRT. Four. C204. C204. Let's see what this one is. This is a bipolar. See? And it's the same value as the last one. So that's where you have to be careful. Make sure you get everything correctly put in there. Gosh, so many. So many things. See, what's that? 703. 703. The numbering is all over the place. This is gonna be tricky when I reinstall this. I'm just gonna go ahead and change this to a 50 volt 10 UF because, like I say, I don't really carry that value in my stock house, my warehouse, my cap warehouse. 701. C701 is next. On to page 2, 16 volt 10. There we go. We've got a C4 over here. Let's get this middle one, C541. C541, gosh, that one's nasty. Right next to the flyback. It is 160 volt, 1 microfarad. And down to the final 4. I think we just have this big one back here on this board. C523. Oh, big fella. C523. C523. $160 volt, 33 microfarads. Let's see what we got down here. 504. Goodness, that one's gonna be tricky. 504. I'll tell you what, we got it out of there. C504. Right? We'll check it. C504. Good drop it. Golly. 50 volt 1 microfarad. 2 more. 506. 506 right here. I think we got some epoxy on the other side of 506. 16220. Perfect. Let's do it. The final capacitor. The final capacitor, C502. Woo! C502. $35 volt, 220. We'll just go up to 50 because I don't carry that. There we go. So that is our mighty fine main board. I don't see him. Anything on there. So what I'll do is I'll set that down. Alright, back in there. We'll just look and make sure we got all of them. Definitely we'll need to clean this board and do some more work to it, but for now, that's probably all we need to worry about on that. And then let's go ahead and tackle the neck board. So let's go up here and say JVC, whoops. I need to remember. I think it's a TM13U. Main board cap list. And then we will go down here. Neck board cap list. There we go. Exactly. Duh. You know what that's called? It's called preventative maintenance. Who's 1D phone? Preventative maintenance. As my friends in the chat will tell you, that you go back a little bit, about 30 minutes, we found some bad solder on one of these capacitors, and all it took him was one little jerk, and it could have maybe prevented the whole thing from working. I'm gonna give this a lovely opportunity to live forever. Who wants to live forever? It won't live forever, but we'll try to make it live for a very long time. This thing's getting full of solder, so I'm gonna have to clean it after hopefully I can get through this board right here, and then we'll clean FR301. C356 is number 1 on the list. $250 volts, 4.7 microfarads. Hey, Vaporwave. Welcome in. Yeah. I don't think these original caps have much. They've already gone double time past their expectancy. So the other components would be, close to a 50-year life expectancy. Some of them. There's no way I'd put anything that'd be worse than these in there. Just don't use the, really garbage ones. 250, 4.7. Really garbage capacitors, like from eBay. Don't buy those usually. C351. 250 volts. 4.7 microfarads. Okay. Those are all the capacitors for the neck board and our main board. Just leaving the power supply. Might as well do it too, because it only has 3 caps in it, so we can go over here and put power board cap list. I'm gonna remove these screws. Just go ahead and remove all them too. Ooh, I like that. I think I have that replacement here. I think I'm gonna have full kit here for this. Hopefully. Guess I'm missing like one of them. So what's we got going on here? Pull back a little bit. It looks like I've got... I can't believe that's attached. All that's attached by cabling. That's kind of rude. Rude and crude. So, let's get this one out first. C907. Whoop. Uh-oh. My motor just stopped on my FR301. How about that? Like, it was acting funny. That's crazy. Let me make sure it's not crooked. No, look, that's working. Holy crap. Well, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Thankfully, we only have a couple more, so we'll have to do the old Chemtronics. There you go. Not sure what happened to that thing. But even that $300 tool just doesn't... Can't rely on it 100% of the time. Thankfully, I'll have to pull out the second one. So this is a 160 volt 10 UF. Funny thing is that's the newer one of the two that I have, but it's, if I'm honest with you, it hasn't been acting as good as the original, so I don't know whether they changed something in the design over the last couple of years, but I'm not really surprised, so we'll see. C905 down here at the bottom. Now, if you see a dark mark, don't worry, that's not like a burn or anything. That's actually just the flux burning from the solder wick. It's got flux like we talked about earlier in it. And this is a 25 volt 100. Then we'll get this last one out. Take a look at this FR301 and see what's going on with it. See if we can get this big one out. Get a little closer. Oh, I wouldn't use manual. Those things are a pain in the neck. I wish there was something better than the FR301, but I don't really know that there is for our application. There probably is something better out there. I'm just not aware of it. There we go. Get that big boy out of there. You really should use this method to get these bigger capacitors out of the way anyway. There we go. This is the big one. This one maybe could zap you. Of course, these things discharge so quickly. It's still only got 470 microfarads of power in it. Let's see what's going on with this other one. With this pump. And there, my friends, is a completed cap list. At least that, in the name of science, we have a completed cap list here for you. Up in the corner. I probably took away that scene, didn't I? I think I did. Let's move this kind of to the top. Give it top priority for a second. And I'll show you. This is our whole cap list. Neck board, power board, main board. And that's how we do it. There you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. What do I think? Yeah, sorry, I already answered that question. Let's see what we got going on with this pump. Because this thing's now going to need to be cleaned. Now that we got everything out of it, before we move on. Open up the side. We'll move it out there. Other way. We'll look at the pump here. Ooh, man, there we go. All that stuff. Out of the way a little bit. Okay. Turn soldering iron off because we know it's working fine. Let's switch over and take a gander over here at this thing. I'm not sure what's going on with it. It's not wanting to do its job. Make it some changes. We'll see if we can figure out what's going on with it at all. Because if I turn the power on, I'm not getting anything. Maybe I unplugged it or something. No. Yeah, partially unplugged. Hey, that's an easy fix. Look. Alright, that's an easy fix. Thankfully, it was just unplugged. So to clean it, but I'm going to clean it before I go anywhere. and do anything else. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit. Back in action though. Stick this down in here. Okay. Now I'm going to remove that. Now the problem with this one is, for some reason, there should be a little tip that I think is broken off the edge of this, or it was never on it very well enough, and it's like broken off inside the tip here, like a leading tip, and it's down in there. But anyway, so let's see what we have in our chamber. Cut that off. And I guarantee we're gonna have a big old solder blob in there. See that built up in there? That's all the solder that we sucked out of those caps off that board. It's something to catch it in though. Plastic tray will do. And then I'll show you another tip when it comes to this thing. Of course, you can pull the back off it. All right. Let's move that part. It's the chamber. The inside of the chamber is not really a big deal. You can just rub your screwdriver, knock off any big fragments inside of there. And then the front chamber piece is just a piece of rubber. Make sure it's rubbed quickly clean and stuff. That's fine. And the back end, see, that's where all our dried up old solder is. You can either try to pry it out like that. Sometimes you can just whack it. But since it's plastic, it's not really wanting to come down. I'll take the filter off. Well, there we go. Just gotta get this. There we go. Broken free. There's our little created solder pellet of all our old solder from that JVC. What a memento. So, here's the tip. These filters need to be kept clean, but they're pretty thick. And instead of replacing them in between every single job, I like to try to extend them, and the best way to do that is to peel the outermost layer off of the filter. Doesn't have to be just enough of them to get that outermost. Now eventually you will have to replace it, but this way you can get a few more uses out of this filter. So as long as it's still pretty thick, you know, as long as there's still a good thickness to it. This is still like probably 75% of a filter left in there, so it's fine. As long as it does, you know, gets in there and does that, and you'll save a little bit of money on those filters. Or you can just keep buying them and replacing them. All right. Turn it on, turn the heat back down. And then we will use this. I like to give it a little shake when it's hot. And it just kind of sucks any leftover debris that might be hot and breaking loose inside that nozzle or chamber. And that's it. That's it. Let's clean the back chamber. So now I've turned it off for this part. And this should be done once every, I don't know, 10 or 15 jobs, depending on how many, you just need to do this portion every once in a while. I'm going to take the chamber out that we just serviced and take that out for a second. Close that. And we've just removed the tube that goes from here to here and this little piece right here to keep it from pinching. And then we're going to remove these 2 screws from the air pump chamber. Don't have to remove all 6 screws, because then that's you're going to open a diaphragm chamber that you don't want to get to. Not unless you have a major problem. And then we're going to get under here. And we're going to get to this valve, which is already looking brown. So what we've got here is this where you'll get that flux residue starts to build up on these flaps and get sticky. And so that valve will stick and you'll lose suction power real easily. Okay, it's pretty simple to take care of all this though. Just pull that valve out, the little valve, and I'm just going to use a little isopropyl alcohol. We're going to clean it up, clean up this inside of this air chamber, the top section. Same thing with the bottom section over here, that air chamber. And all that's doing is that's where the air pump is pumping the air through. And this is opening and closing as you hit that trigger. And it's preventing that sticky stuff from actually getting all the way down into your, look how dirty my hands are. I'm probably going to make it dirtier by trying to clean it, because my hands are so nasty. Yeah. Oh. Anyway. Cool, right? So we'll set that down right there, and I'll use my tweezers to get it back. And then we'll just put it all back together, because it's only going to take a second. I'm going to blow out that. I'm going to blow it out with this. Okay, and then we're going to take this without using our fingers. Actually, I'm going to blow it off too while I hold it here. And I just had another little piece go flying. With my screw. Where's the back screw? Awesome. Well, we'll find that in a second, because, oh, there it is. All right. So there's a little tab right there. It's that little indentation. So it doesn't go this way. That tab has to match up. Actually goes the opposite way. There, the tabs are matched up. Now, if you need to, you can buy these parts. This will need eventually to be replaced if you use it 1,000 times or something, or if it rips or something. It's not impossible. It's just a little flap of plastic. So thankfully, you can buy just the replacements for all these little parts. Usually from Amazon. Hacko pretty much sells directly through their website and through Amazon. So we'll get these little things in here. And this top plate that is on the back of the pump also only goes one way. When you put it back in. So tighten those a little bit. You see, this has to be parallel. or not parallel, but the same, like out here and in here, but they're pointing the same direction. Okay. Just tighten the, make sure those are nice and hand tight. And the more you do this with your Hacko, the better it's going to perform. You know, if you do this between every job, then you're basically going to be having a new Hacko every time. And that's all good. That's all helpful, because your tools are what helps get all that solder out. And if they're not working good, then it's much easier to damage a board. And that's it. Put all that back together. That's how it should look. Just like that. Then I have this, which you see this little ring, this little washer. The way this goes, let's set that for, I think this goes here, this goes in there, and that washer is supposed to be on this side to keep the screw from falling out. There we go. So be mindful of that. If you lose that, it doesn't really matter, but your screw will fall out the back, because if it's in there, it's just easy to do like that. There we go. Load the filter chamber. Close it back up. And you can tell a difference. You can hear a difference, you can feel a difference when you get it really super clean like that, because it sucks, you know, just about full capacity. Excellent. So far, so good, right? Everything's going well on this restoration. How we all doing? Thanks for coming in, Sinelli. I'm actually about to finish up for this stream because we've been going just about 2 hours. And I have an appointment coming soon. And that means that we need to work on this later and finish this up and finish installing all these capacitors. So I may jump back on here on a stream again tomorrow. I'm not sure. Basically, for the time being, I'm working around my kids' schedule. And then I have, next month, I have a bunch of traveling to do for conventions. So I'm thinking multiple streams every week won't be possible till we get into September. But until then, Thursdays seem to be pretty good. So hopefully it won't be till, the latest next Thursday. I do plan to work on the new episode, and hopefully I can get it out by tomorrow or Saturday. And that's going to be an awesome episode on a Toshiba flat screen getting a full restoration, and then getting RGB mux modded, and a bunch of cool stuff in that video with the Sunthar RGB kit. So be on the lookout for that to drop in the next 2 days. Thanks again, everybody. I had a great time in today's stream. I appreciate all of you that came by and watched everything. If you're here late, feel free to go back towards the beginning, and we've been just working through this pretty much non-stop since we started the stream up today, just working on this old JVC. And I will not leave you hanging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go clean on this, and again, if I have time, I'll stream on it. Worst case scenario, I'll post pictures to X or Twitter on what it looks like afterwards. So thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one.